JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 15th of September 2021. So welcome everyone. Welcome to this Wednesday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, as always, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So check us out here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top. So now then, jumping into the charts, the first one I want to pick up here is very quickly on Nikkei. So everything's working according to the plan. The one that I mentioned yesterday as well, that basically if this barrier here, the previous highest point of this year near the 30,714 territory provides resistance, then we might see a bit of a retracement here, and this is exactly what happens. We got that little drift lower. We're still trading above this 30,242 territory I spoke about previously, so let's see if it can continue to provide support. If it cannot, then maybe we could be due for a bit of a larger correction to the downside here. And the reason why I'm saying correction is because we're still trading above this little short-term tentative upside line taken from the low of the 20th of August. So for now, basically keep your eyes on this hurdle here, or should I say this area around this hurdle. If it provides support, then yes, something like this could be possible where we could see a nice rebound and a push back to the upside. Shanghai Composite, so also something that I've picked up recently, but this one's a little bit on the worse side. Basically, we did get some numbers coming out from. Did get some numbers from China today, this morning. So industrial production declined, basically in retail sales as well declined significantly. So not very good news here for the Chinese economy. However, let's see if this this is going to be just a temporary setback. So for now, let's say if we're looking at this technical picture here, we can see that yes, we have drifted lower yesterday and today as well, but today it's just kind of still hanging near this upside line. If it continues to stay here above this upside line, then yes, we could maybe consider another push higher. However, if it breaks this upside line and then drops below the 3,629 territory right here, then we could maybe go for some lower levels here, and we could go for that larger correction to the downside, and then we would take it from there, guys. So, but for now, long story short, let's keep an eye on this little steep upside line. If it continues to provide support, then yes, we might see another push higher. If it fails and we see the price falling below the 3,629 territory, now that's where it could become a little bit more interesting for a few more sellers. So, jumping into the German index DAX, and again, continued to trade below this 15,755 territory. I've mentioned, if you remember, on Monday I've mentioned that area, as I said, that if it continues to provide resistance together with the 21-day EMA, then maybe we could see another slide lower here. As you can see, recently last week, I mean, we we did get that drift to the downside where we tested the 100-day EMA, and as I say, if we continue to respect this 21-day EMA and this 15,755 level as good strong resistance, another slide could be possible, where once again the aim could be that 100-day EMA. In terms of the upside, well, it's pretty straightforward. Basically, I need to see a break of this downside line here, and then yes, we could go for some higher levels. The S&P 500, so here you can see that the S&P did drift lower yesterday, did break the upside line here, taken from the low of the 4th of March. So of course that doesn't really paint a very positive picture. The cash index currently is trading around 4,448 level, so not far from where it closed yesterday, but basically slightly above it. So what I would say here right now is be very careful. Yes, we closed slightly below the previous day low here. Of course, this kind of gives a bit of a more bearish indication. However, let's be very careful here. I mean, let's be very cautious. I would say like this, that if we see another drop below this 4,445 territory, then yes, once again I'll aim for the downside, and my next target could be this 4,367-68 territory marked by the lowest point of August. But for the upside, well, this is where some adjustments have to be made. And basically, I mean, we could draw a downside line here. Certainly, yes, I mean, one of those to keep an eye on, but we could already start looking at higher levels if we push back above this 4,493 territory right here, which is the current highest point of this week. At the same time, the price would be placed back above the the 21-day EMA, and potentially this could attract a few more buyers. Nasdaq 100. So this one is also drifting lower. It fell below this 21-day EMA. It stayed below it, and of course now it's kind of painting a little bit more of a bearish picture. I mean, the cash index is currently trading at around 15,400 level, so it's still slightly below that 21-day EMA. So I would say like this, that as long as it remains below this 21-day EMA and below this 15,447 territory, then yes, we will continue, or actually, sorry, let me just this very quickly, not that level, but the 15,433 territory right here. So yep, marked by last week's low. Yep, as you can see here, it kind of almost perfectly coincides with the 21-day EMA. So long story short, a nice good push back above it may attract a few more buyers. However, there are a bunch of obstacles on the way higher here, so be very careful with that. But at the moment, we are still trading below this 21-day EMA. So if we continue to trade below it, then, well, I mean, we might not be done here with the downside. DXY, the dollar index, so still monitoring that one, still keeping a close eye on it, because basically it's currently stuck in this little range here, roughly between the 92.33 and the 92.86 levels. We're oscillating just around that 21-day EMA, so in other words, we're just kind of flat right now. So in order to consider maybe the next short-term directional move, then yes, a breakthrough either above the 92.86 level would be needed, or a drop below the 92.33 level right here would be required in order to aim for lower levels. However, with the downside, even if we drop below this area, we do have this upside line here taken from the low, the 23rd of June, which could provide some support. But if that gets broken, well, I mean, lower levels could be met. Gold is well, working out according to the plan. If you remember, in the beginning of this week, or specifically Monday, I told you that so far we are trading above this downside line still, although we have been seeing a few declines. But if this downside line acts as or should I say what I said, that it could act as a nice little trampoline here for the commodity, and we could see a nice push higher. So so we got that rebound, we got that push, so that's perfect. However, what I said to the more cautious traders, that if you want to aim for higher levels, then yep, wait for a push above that 1804 zone right here, because at the same time the price would be placed back above all of its EMAs, and yep, more buyers could join in, where we could aim for that 1834 level then, which is marked by the current highest point of September. A quick update on WTI oil. So yep, we remained above that 70.59 territory, so far so good for the buyers. We're slowly drifting higher. So yep, if we continue to trade above that 70.59 territory and also above this upside line, then well, my next target is that 74.21 level, marked by the high of the 30th of July. Ripple. So Ripple, looking at this picture, if you remember, I talked about this one recently, and I said that we are keeping a close eye on this 1.0520 territory, which so far is acting as a good area of support. Now, although we keep getting these little overshoots here, but overall, the body of the daily candle, for example, still remains above this hurdle. So if you want to look at some downside, then certainly a drop below this area would be needed. For the upside, now this is where the tricky bit comes in, and I would actually prefer to wait for a push maybe above this hurdle. However, this is at this point in time. Maybe it will change depending on how this is going to start moving. But yep, if it pushes through that 1.2451 territory here, marked by the high of the 10th of September, now that's where we could get a little bit more comfortable with the upside. But for now, guys, I'm leaning a little bit more towards lower levels. However, confirmation break is still needed. Now, jumping into a few pairs, AUD JPY, something that I touched on Monday, what I told you then was that continue monitoring this downside line taken from the high of the 7th of September, and although there were some signs that it wanted to move higher, you can see that this downside line continued to provide resistance, and yep, we drifted lower. And also, in addition to that, I've mentioned this 80.64 territory, which we comfortably broke, and we moved further south. So for now, I would say that even if it retraces at some point, maybe once again here, still as long as it remains below this downside line, yep, we will continue targeting the downside, where my next target could be this 79.40 level, marked by the near the lows of the 25th and the 27th of August. USD CHFs, so not going to spend too much time on this one. Still the same game plan. Yep, we're currently stuck here in this little kind of range, I would say, or maybe even some of you might like to draw this one as an ascending triangle, right, like this. But either way, guys, here you can see that yes, on the broader picture, we do have something of a little range here. The slightly shorter term one, we have maybe a bit of a, actually not from here, but more from here, like this. We have a steep upside line, which kind of is helping us to draw a nice little ascending triangle pattern, which according to all the TA rules tends to break to the upside. However, until we get that break through the upper side of it, we cannot really get comfortable with that idea. So either way, basically this barrier right here, the 0.9233 area, is the one to watch right now. If we push nicely above it and stay above it, then yes, certainly higher levels could be met. But if we break this little steep short-term tentative upside line, then, well, maybe we could go for slightly lower levels. Now USD CAD very quickly on that one, and yeah, so here we also have an interesting picture we could be seeing here as a possible bullish flag, but on the slightly bigger picture here we are stuck in between these two tentative trend lines. One is taken from the low of the 1st of June, the other one is taken from the high of the 20th of August. So the downside line is from the 20th of August, the upside one is from the low of the 1st of June. In order, of course, to go for some higher levels, certainly a break of one of the lines, of this downside line is required. And in addition to that, I would actually prefer also to wait for a move above the 1.2762 territory here, and then yes, we could go for the upside. Now, in terms of the downside, certainly we would rather wait for a break of this upside line here and then consider some lower levels. But at the moment, it's a bit of like I said, it's leaning a little bit more towards the upside. However, as I said, those confirmation breaks are still required. GBP JPY, so yeah, this is a perfect example of when I keep telling you guys to wait for that confirmation break, wait for that maybe the body of the daily candle to remain above or below a certain level, and this is what I was saying to you from the beginning of this week. Basically, we broke the downside line, we pushed higher, we also climbed above this 152.64 territory, but we failed to stay above it, and instead we reversed sharply to the downside, as you can see, and fell back below this downside line. And now we're trading also below one of my other targets, the low of the 9th of September, near the 151.43 level, and the drop, if we continue to trade below that area, certainly yes, lower levels could be met, but initially what we're going to aim for will be this right here. Let me just adjust this. There we go. Could aim for this little short-term tentative upside line here. Yeah. Taken from the low of the 20th of July, and then yes, certainly we could take it from there, guys. But for now, let's keep an eye on this area. Let's keep an eye on this hurdle, the 151.43. If we continue to trade below it, then yes, lower levels could be met. A quick update on Euro-Turkish Lira pair. So, as you can see, we failed to kind of move and stay, or I wouldn't say actually we failed to move, but we failed to stay below this support area, this whole support area that I talked about, and instead we reversed from it and pushed higher, and now it seems that we're forming somewhat of a bullish flag here. So we have our pole, we have our little flag or pennant, whatever you want to call it, and yes, this could in a way lead to some higher levels if this little downside line, or which is the upper side of the pennant, would break. Then yes, we could consider some higher levels. So for now, what I'm keeping an eye on here is, of course, this downside line, and also keeping an eye on yesterday's high. This week's high near the 10.01 level. If that gets cleared, yes, higher levels could be met. Euro-Aussie, very quickly on this one, Euro-Aussie did push higher, and since last time we talked about this one, a lot has changed, as you can see. But one thing that is probably picking up here is the fact that maybe, just maybe, we could be seeing here a nice little beautiful head and shoulders pattern. However, that's not confirmed yet, and anything can change. So, but this is just one of those ideas to kind of have it in the back of your head, because basically, if this area right here will be the left shoulder and this is the head, and now we're forming the right shoulder, then maybe a hold up somewhere either around the 1.6184 or maybe even around the 1.6866 level would be possible. if that happens, if this holdup does happen somewhere around here, another drift lower could be possible then, and towards the so-called neckline. But again, this is just an idea for now. I mean, what I'm keeping an eye on for at the moment is, of course, the 1.6195 level right here, marked by the high of the 31st of August. And if we clear that, and then we'll go slowly, step by step, to the upside, and then maybe we could just in general ignore the whole head and shoulders pattern if it continues to rally here and makes its way back to the 1.6436 level, marked by the highest point of August. So, long story short, for now, guys, yes, we could go for a few higher levels still. We could maybe test this 1.6195 territory, or even the 1.6266, and then we'll take it from there. If it finds resistance somewhere around here, yep, maybe we could see a bit of a slide back down. And finally, EURUSD. So yeah, so still stuck. Well, we're back above this downside line, of course. We are stuck around we continue to trade around that 21-day EMA. Yeah, it's at the moment it seems like it's a no man's game here, and basically for now, I would say that wait for this, wait for a decent move, I would say. I mean, this is if I can say it this way. Basically, wait for a breakout, because at the moment, again, like I said, guys, it's a bit of a roller coaster ride here. So if we pop above the 1.1851 territory somewhere around here, then yes, we could consider maybe some higher levels, where our next target could be this 1.1909 level. For the downside, a drop below the 1.1770 zone right here, marked by the low of the 13th of September, which is also the current lowest point of September. A nice good drop below it, yep, may open the door towards lower levels. So keep that in mind. So guys, that's it for this session. I really hope you found it useful, and thank you very much for your time, guys. I really appreciate that. So if you want to catch me tomorrow morning, as always, at my Traders Espresso, that's, as always, 6 o'clock GMT time. For now, have a wonderful trading day, stay safe, and I'll see you later. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.